Today I just want to do a small video about why you should be considering to go and study in Canada as opposed to going to study as an undergraduate or countries which are neighboring, as you know. But they have different regimes, and when I say regimes, I mean immigration regimes. So most people don't know whether Canada has better opportunities than the USA, because the USA has been sold as this good place with good amenities, good, a very good quality of life, and all these good things being sold through the mass media or social media. And it's not entirely false, but in terms of someone who wants to pursue further education, especially someone from mostly African countries where the quality of life is not good, and maybe you want to go and study and also amass the other benefits which come with studying, including being able to also relocate with your family, because Canada as a country, when you go to study, it allows you to carry your family if you have a wife, children, and children, I mean dependent children, including adopted, biological, or otherwise, but they should be legally your children. You go with them when you're going to study. And the other thing, when you get that study permit, your spouse, after some time, let's say like 5 or 6 months, can apply for a work visa in the Canadian embassy, and this allows the spouse, if it's your wife or your husband, to follow you on a work permit, which is tied in terms of length to the period of your study visa. So, for example, if your study visa is for, let's say, 4 years, the work visa of your spouse will also be 4 years. So this is a benefit. This is a double benefit, because now here you are studying, and at the same time you are also your spouse is also working and supporting you in your studies in terms of finances, and your children at the same time, they are also eligible. They are eligible to get the full benefits of Canadian Canadian citizens. So they'll attend a school for free. They'll get medical care for free. The same as Canadian citizens, I mean, and this is the benefit, which is the major one for people who are family people, so to speak. And the other benefit for Canada is that after you are done with the studies, let's assume that you are studying, you'll be studying in Canada for 3 or 4 years. Even less, more than 2 years. Let's call it a study permit which is more than 2 years. The Canadian government allows you to get what we call post-graduation work permit. Post-graduation work permit allows you to work in Canada, get a work visa after you are done with your school, and that work post-graduation work permit is valid for 2 years, 2 extra more years. If you studied for 2 years, you have a Canadian post-graduation work permit, which is valid for another 2 years. And within that duration, you'll be able to maybe look for a job, and now look for ways to adjust your status to another more permanent kind of visa. And each and every province in Canada, because Canada is made up of various provinces ranging from Quebec, New Brunswick, British Columbia, Ontario, name them, all these provinces. Each and every province has its own immigration pathway, and each province is competing with the other to retain staff, to retain personnel. So you find that the province you studied in, they have programs, they have immigration programs which allow you now to transition from a student visa to another type of visa, which is because there are so many. You just need to check in the websites of the various provinces which you want to go and study in. So before you choose a province to where you want to study, you need to have a clear path already in your mind, basing on the available immigration pathways, because each and every province, as I've told you, has its own immigration pathway. Albeit some are tied to the express entry, but at the end of the day, most people who manage to go and study in Canada, they they are able to stay permanently, as opposed to the US, whereby you'd find that most people, unless you are doing courses related to STEM courses, with these are science courses, healthcare, engineering, computer engineering, that is when those are the people the companies are able to file H-1B visa for them. But the others courses which are not related to STEM, you'll find that these people are forced to go back to their home countries. You're just given like 60 days after now you're done with your graduation. If you're not able to secure a job, a permanent job, which can help you file for permanent stay, to adjust your status, the US government requires you to go back to your home country, which is a very big disadvantage, because I know most people from African countries, as much as we are patriotic, people want to stay in those countries to be able to get more money and continue bettering their own life. So these are among the reasons why I usually tell people, when you are choosing, when you are thinking about your study abroad, Canada is a better bet as opposed to the US. I know the US has this image, the dollar image, and everyone wants to immigrate to the US, but you need to be directional and properly guided in that aspect. So otherwise, you'll find that most people are choosing without knowing. So there are things which are about Canada. You will find that Canada has this welcoming nature, as opposed to the US. The US has this capitalistic, near capitalistic, cutthroat capitalistic kind of culture, as opposed to Canada, which is a more welcoming society as compared to the US. So this is why I would advise people, even if you are looking for scholarships, even if you are funding your own studies, prefer to choose Canada as your study destination, because any study above 2 years will allow you to stay for another 2 years. And when you are choosing a school, choose a school with what we call DLI. It's another way of saying the school is allowed to take international students, and the college is also able to apply, is allowed and is able to apply for post-graduation work permit for you. So those are the few things I would want to tell you. Also, because we are having funding for people who want to study in those two countries, the US or Canada. There's funding which is brought by a company which approached me, and I'll be attaching the link. They'll be giving support in terms of a loan for you to study in those two countries in courses which are good courses, mostly STEM and finance, so that when you study, when you go to the embassy will not deny you a visa, because you do not have financing, because this company will have given you support, and they are your sponsor, and they have this kind of financial muscle to be able to push you through school and living expenses. The link will be in the description of this video, so be sure to check it if you are an aspiring student, be it mostly from Africa, because they are focused on African countries. That is why I want to specify that most of these financial opportunity is for students in Africa. Otherwise, let's continue encouraging each other. If you have not followed me, subscribe to this channel, and also like this channel, so that the video is pushed further to more and more people. I have a lot of information. I've written a lot of information here, which I'll give in other videos. So be sure. All this you see here is a lot of information I'm researching and preparing for you, because I need to give you the best of the best and help you in your immigration journey or study abroad journey. Otherwise, thank you very much, and watch another video or here or somewhere here. Thank you.